Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Scale Stories by Helium 10. My name is Bradley Sutton. I'm from Helium 10. I'm joined by
Jason McClellan from Prime Team Agency.
And we are here to help
David Mead from InMotion to double my sales.
All right, we are going to double David's sales through a number of different things that we're going to be going over on these episodes. Now, if you're just happening to land on this episode for the first time, it's your first time seeing David, it means you need to go back and watch our first main episode. So if you're watching this on YouTube, it'll be somewhere here. Make sure to go watch David's first episode so you can meet Jason and the team of mentors that we assembled to help him understand what David's been doing with his Amazon business to date and some of the things we outlined. Now, one of the things that we talked about that especially Jason had noted that that would help David is a few things that are kind of like logistical things on the Amazon side that not any one of these is going to help him double his sales. Might not even get him 20% more sales, but the thing about Amazon is doing all of the little things that matter because they add up, and then they have a flywheel effect where we do all of these things that we're going to talk about on these episodes. Yes, it should allow him to double or even more his sales. And so the first thing I wanted to talk about today was something Jason talked about earlier, which was virtual bundles. Now, virtual bundles, what these are, like you can see here on one of Jason's old companies here, VitaCup. Actually, right now, Amazon, as we're filming this, Amazon is doing some testing that we hope they're going to take away. But you can't see it too well, where it says here bundles with this item. And these are what's called virtual bundles, because what Jason had done here is he's saying that, hey, if you're looking at the Keto Max, here's a Keto Max with, what is this? The energy coffee. Here's one where you can get the Keto Max with lightning coffee pods. Here's a virtual bundle with the Keto Max with the hydration. All right. If you're on keto, you need to stay hydrated too. If you're on keto, you want to have focus. Well, all of these bundle together. And so this is something that usually is a lot more prominent. It looks like this, or sometimes it might show up down here in this section. But virtual bundles, traditionally, Jason, what are a couple of the reasons why it's good to have virtual bundles on a page?
Oh, a couple of reasons. First comes to my mind is it's a free placement. So used to where default, it would be expanded right below the size, so above the fold. It would give you a way to hopefully do an impulse buy and sell another product with it. Second, product awareness. You're educating the consumer at another touch point of that you have other things that they should be looking at. And third, this uses to seed much greater into organic search and paid search in the experience. So it allowed you to fill up more of that digital shelf space under those important keywords for your products.
Yep, absolutely. And there's something, David, here that we do. We call, and different people have different names. So like defensive advertising and things like that. And you can see that Jason actually did that here. There's some sponsored display ads showing up here, where they have this spot here with some VitaCup products. Now, what happens though, and this is fine, if a customer were to click on this, VitaCup is paying a cost per click for these spots. There's some more ads down here, and you can see some defensive ads because VitaCup is promoting their own products down here. But again, if somebody clicks on this, there is a cost per click associated with that. But with virtual bundles, if somebody goes and clicks this, I'm going to do it right now, that was a free click. VitaCup is not paying anything for that. So it's like kind of like free advertising and pushing some of those other ads down. And so this is something that's really easy to set up. And we are going to show you how to do that so you can do it on your own for your products that you have now. But then as you add new products, you're going to want to add these to the virtual bundles. All right. So where virtual bundles are here on the left. You hit this, and then you hit brands, and then you hit virtual bundles. Now, what you're going to want to do is select two of the products. All right. So we're going to hit add product, and we are going to bundle your top two sellers, which is the cream and your roll-on. Add to bundle, and then done adding products. Now, as you can see, we just made a bundle, and I'm going to put since your top seller is the roll-on, I'm going to put that as the main component? Does that really matter, Jason, or like you want to put the
I
top
generally
color of that,
I generally put on the highest traffic, because you're
Okay.
potentially it's gonna be the most eyes.
Perfect. Now that's what we have here. Now, here is where you're going to have to do some work. And this is just what I do. What I do on my virtual bundles is because I'm a little bit lazy, is the main image I need to get done. Like the main image has to show both of the products. So that you can use AI to combine both of the images together, like just to show the cream right next to the roll on. But then what I do for these other ones, and Jason, you can tell me if you do something different, but I just choose like the best images of both of the products, so I'm not having to do an entire stack. Like for example, let me go to this listing right here. Here's the cream. Here's the cream. Like if you know, we are actually going to redo some of these images for you, as we talked about with Kamal. But like, let's say this was an important image, I would go ahead and put this image as image 2, and then for image 3, I'll pick, you know, a main, one of the main important ones that were from the roll on. And image 4, I'll go back to the cream. And so I mix it up there. But this first image is what potentially could show in search results if it ever gets indexed for a certain keyword. And you'd want that to be a picture of both of them. Now, what you're going to have to do, you're just going to make a new title here, David, of hey, in motion hemp roll on plus hemp cream for pain relief, and then just, you know, kind of like fill out the title. You'll have a short title. Bundle price. Now you have to put some kind of discount here on this. What's your discount strategy for virtual bundles, Jason?
We generally do 10%, and then
10%.
That's all we run on that.
Okay, so let's say you just went ahead and decided to go around 20, you know, there, $55.97, 8% off, or you can go 54 or closer to 10%. Whoops, not 544. There we go. 54.97. There's 10.53% off. The description. Now the rest of this is just like a regular listing. We'll help you on this off camera. You're just going to make a description of it.
Can I ask a question? So
Yeah.
that number, the number is the combination of those two prices, right?
Yes. So basically how this works is, and you're going to be able to do, by the way, you probably should do this or you could do this for other products if you didn't want to have your quantity bundles, which you already have. Like, let's say you didn't have a quantity bundle, you only had the one SKU. Now you yourself actually package 5 of these roll-ons and 2 of these creams together, and you offer that as a separate SKU, and you've actually packaged it. That's not a virtual bundle, that's a real bundle, right? But now what you can do, or what you're going to be able to do with Amazon, is you can have multi-packs without having to package them separately. So you could have the one roll-on SKU and then have like a 5-pack, and it makes it like a virtual multi-pack. This is a virtual bundle in that you are not packaging the roll-on and the cream together and sending it to Amazon under a new SKU. Amazon is creating this SKU, and if somebody orders it, they're going to see one listing. It's going to have the roll-on and the cream together, and so it looks to them like they're making one order of a 2-pack, or, you know, a bundle of the two. But what Amazon is doing in the back end is they're taking one from your roll-on inventory and one from your cream inventory, sending it separately to the customer. I mean, it could arrive at the same time depending on where it's at, but that's why it's called virtual bundle, is because you didn't actually create a real bundle for this. And so what happens when you do this discount price, you're actually paying the same fee to Amazon as if it was somebody ordered 2 of these, you know, separately, or one each separately. So you don't have too much. I wouldn't go too heavy with that discount, because you're not getting a discount on the pick and pack fee or anything like that.
So would I do this instead of bundling? Because it takes time to put 4 packs together and things like that.
Yes, potentially you could. It's going to cost you more though. See, this is what you're going to have to measure the cost of how much it you know, your labor charge for having to manage inventory separately and bundle it together. But if somebody orders like your 5-pack of roll-ons or whatever, right? You're only getting 1 pick and pack fee. But if you do this virtual multi-pack, you're getting 5 pick and pack fees.
Okay, right. Okay.
So you just have to, you know, kind of like measure which one is more important to you. You have an advantage, David, because you're doing this all. You manage your own inventory. You got your own warehouse that manages it. You're doing this all made in USA. For other people who are manufacturing in China and they don't have a 3PL warehouse or a warehouse, they almost have no choice. Like they have to do the multi-packs. Otherwise, it's really hard to gauge how many they need to pre-pack. And so this is just a different option for different people. And so you'll make your bullet points about the new product, and you'd make a new SKU, and then that's it. It's already live and good to go. All right. The next thing that especially Jason had noted was subscribe and save. All right. So subscribe and save is super important when you have like a grocery product or a topical product, anything that we call replenishable. And actually, David does have a subscribe and save on here. And that's right here. You can see it's $31.47. And if I, as a buyer, would click on this, it's going to deliver to me every 3 months is what it's going to choose. All right. Now, what did you notice, though, Jason, when you were going over this account in that first episode about this here?
Well, what I noticed is the 2-year LTV that Amazon was showing was so much dramatically higher. There was a lot of stickiness when someone was subscribing. So if we can just get them into the subscribe and save flow sooner than later, and incentivize them to do it, if they could utilize a first-time subscribe and save coupon,
that was one thing. I remember, that was one thing that you noticed that he didn't have. But the other thing here that we see, what is the other mistake that you think David had made here?
Oh, the price. Thank you.
There's no benefit.
Yeah, there's no hook on it. Like you need to have a little bit of reason to encourage that loyal customer to be loyal.
Okay, so where you can get this, guys, is manage your inventory, and I'm here in David's account here, and then there's a dashboard that you can do if you have tons and tons of products that you have. But we only have two main ones that we want to get on the subscribe and save here, which is the hemp cream and the roll-on cream. And so the easy way to do it, let's start with the roll-on, or let's start with the cream, actually. You just hit the SKU and manage inventory, and it opens up another window that has a whole bunch of data about this product. And then you hit subscribe and save, and we can see here that on the cream, he actually does have a discount here of 5%. Looks like just maybe the roll-on, it didn't have it. So this one, he's got 24 subscribers only on this one. And he had, we're probably going to look at this on the roll-on and see that he has 0. But right now, right here, you can see it says 5%. What do you suggest, Jason? Do we stick with 5? He's got some margin on this, because one of the things that we did a couple months ago, we raised up his prices a little bit. So do you think he should maybe bump this to 10? Is that what you you did with VitaCup, or what do you usually do?
VitaCup. Well, it depends on the ability to play at the margin. So deeper margin products we would do at 10%. Lower margin products we would do at 5%. So
okay. You comfortable, David, with a 10% subscribe and save discount on this?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's go from 5% to 10%. Confirm the change there. And now the other thing that I noticed and that you talked about, like on VitaCup here, you can see here, hey, it's $30 and the subscribe and save $26.95. But then you've got a coupon here. Explain your strategy here, Jason, of offering such a gigantic, 40% off on that first order.
Just because we know the two-year LTV is so much greater on a subscriber that paying an additional 40% to make sure that we get them to subscribe and save, we found that definitely got a higher velocity of first-time subscribers. And as you break this up into a flow, it's customer acquisition, customer retention, subscribe and save. And what we found out a lot of times was by also having the first time coupon, people would often move from, you'd get them on that client acquisition because in all honesty, people want a deal. And so what they'll do is they'll see there's an extra incentive, which is pretty good to subscribe and save for the first time. So they go, hey, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and subscribe and save. And then, you hope they stick. And what showed over time is that a lot of it, there was less churn. So net at the end of the month, you're always up. You ended up costing less even in the short term to maintain and push them down the funnel to subscribe and save. So 40% off, kind of a easy peasy thing to do once you understand how the process worked. And to be honest, we experimented. We experimented 20, 25, 30, and 40. So it's a learning process for different categories and different products. What does that consumer respond well to? How's the elasticity of it? And this is what we settled on.
Let me ask a question. A little bit of this, like this, the mushroom coffee. My wife loves it, drinks it every day, is going to order again when the time comes. Our product seems to last a lot longer. So subscribe and save is like a quarterly thing, right?
For your product. And that's what Amazon automatically defaults for your product, because it is statistically looked at the ordering patterns of repeat purchasers on your product and see how often they repeat, and then they'll default that. During the setup phase, they could change it. They can do it if they're going through a month, but on average, that's how long it's taking a consumer to go through your product, is at 3 months. And then at that point, it becomes a matter of convenience. They know that they enjoy it. They don't want to run out, so they automatically have it added to their basket.
But I do think that the length of time, how long they have the product, there's some formula for that, right? Mine would be different than yours.
And yes, there is a different formula to it. What I'd say is it's always good to start off at 20% and start playing with it. 20% is should get you a decent amount of conversion. And then you can start playing with the discounts that are being allowed. You can try moving it up to 25 and run it for a month. Do you see any greater conversion, any greater increase in SNS? And you can kind of start backing into the math on it.
Yeah.
Let me actually just look at.
Yeah, and especially since we hadn't done the roll-on, then it probably makes sense to figure that out right now. Get the coupon in there as soon as we kick that off, right?
Yeah. Yep. I'd say 20% to start. I think it's a good base number.
I'm good with that.
Yep.
Now, when they take the coupon, then they're automatically enrolled. When do they go? I mean, they can also just take the 20% and then back right out,
and you're going to have a certain amount that do that.
Yeah.
And what you have to be looking at is tracking, like, what is that net number each month? And yours is going to run a 3-month cycle. So how is everything churning every 3 months? But once you start getting it going, it'll be on a monthly basis.
Yeah. Okay. That sounds good.
Okay. So let's go where we can do this is advertising and then coupons. And we will do create a new coupon. And this will be a subscribe and save coupon. Going to all customers. Let's go ahead and choose the actual product here. And let's search for it. Here it is right here. This is just the cream one. We're going to hit continue. We'll just go ahead and start this, and we'll have to put it to next year. We can always change this later. Coupon fee is now $5 plus a variable fee of 2.5% of the sales. Money off or a percentage off usually works best.
Yes,
Jason?
That's what we found.
So what should we start him out at again? Since
20%.
Less 20%, we'll do 20%.
20%. Yeah.
Limit redemption to 1 per customer.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
And set budget. Let's just do like $500. And coupon title. Let me see what you did on Vita Cup. Where is the title?
I think it's an internal reference.
So it's not even important then, I guess.
Yeah. Give it something that means means to you.
Yeah.
So like first time subscribe and save for
hemp cream, first time subscribe and save. Allow stacking or no stacking?
no stacking.
No stacking. And continue.
So I understand stacking means discount after discount. Is that what that is?
Yep.
Yeah, like maybe you're
Discount
running
and
a
discounts.
coupon or
Right,
deal.
right.
Yeah, you don't want people
Right.
stacking. All right, so that was that one. But on this one, on the actual roll-on cream, I believe we're going to see that you had 0 discount on subscribe and save. Let's take a look. Yep, 0%.
Yeah.
So let's go 10% on that. Confirm change. All right, and let's quickly set up a coupon on this as well. We go to coupons, create a new coupon, subscribe and save. Start participating products. We will go ahead and find the roll-on, which is here. Continue. Percentage off, 20%, 1 per customer. Let's put a little bit bigger budget on this one. On roll on hemp cream, subscribe and save. Discount. Do not allow stacking. And boom goes the dynamite. In just a couple of minutes, we now are going to have your 2 main products look different. Now, this is not going to be something immediately that we're going to be able to see, but basically this is what it's going to look like. You know, the one-time purchase will be 31 still. There will be a subscribe and save discount, and then customers will see this nice little big yellow thing here about saving on their first discount. Okay, so another thing that along the lines of subscribe and save and how his customers are interacting, we have something in Helium 10 called customer intelligence. And so I'm on David's customer intelligence page. And let's go ahead and look at this year's data, and let's see if Jason can come up with anything that we can see here. LTV. So that's actually pretty good. His customers are spending $120 from him on average. Is that what this is saying?
It is, and it looks like the average order values are around $35. You're looking at how much you're spending on ads related to your cost on your new to brand buyers, and that's costing about $9.92. So pretty good. So you got a 12 on your LTV to CAC ratio. So some of that discounting we suggested on grabbing that subscribe and save customer. Definitely have a lot of room to do it.
And if we zoom in on some of his products here, let me just sort it by, or it's already sorted by the number of orders. Obviously, we see here the roll-on is the complete hero, product here. But anything jump out to you here?
Your hemp cream still has a really good LTV to CAC ratio. Might be, which is great. Your 2 main products. The thing is how can we expand that pain relief cream product to introduce it to more people.
Imagine if we got the roll-on to this LTV that the cream has.
Yeah.
Look at that LTV, $160, but the roll-on is the number 1 seller. Good grief! If we would just get the LTV up to $100,
our CAC is definitely double, but it's a better, and it's showing that we're the customer lifetime 3.6, so it's double. That's why you can afford a much higher CAC. Is that the customers, the predictiveness on the customers is they're just lasting longer.
And this is only over the last year, right?
This is only over the last year, and but it's also looking at the repeat rate of how people are coming into that too. So what I'd say is it's it's a really healthy product. Definitely can look at how your advertising's running on your hemp cream. Maybe we can take a look at that, and then just see if there's a little bit more optimization we can do just to lower that CAC. But healthy customer lifetime value. I mean, it's speaking for itself. So, like as we were talking about earlier, even though it's 3 months, they're sticking with you.
Yeah. So
Right.
I think the fact that, I mean, we can all, I mean, I don't think this is the main reason. I know the cream has been around a lot longer, but there was a discount on subscribe and save for the cream, and there was not on the roll-on. So this one change that we just did a few minutes ago about giving the coupon to get them in subscribe and save and offering the discount, that could change the dynamics of what we're seeing here, because that could be one of the reasons why that, it seems like there's more people on replenishment with the cream than the roll-on.
Yeah, and you can go up a little bit more. And I think that's a good point you made about the cream's been around longer than the roll-on. So there's probably some long tail data that's just built into it. But I mean, at $8.97, it's really healthy on the CAC, and I would just say, like, continue down the methodology. Like, these are your two main hero products that you are needing to push and needing to continue to introduce to new to brand customers.
The other interesting thing is the ratings on the roll-on are much better. Not much better, but the cream is lower.
You're right. We talked about that in our first meeting. So I'm big up on the roll-on. I think it's a great form and function. And I think I think keep pushing on both.
Yep.
Okay. All right. One more thing. Let's just review that to make sure that you have, speaking of reviews, you just mentioned the ratings. You might want to get more reviews. So let's make sure you've got follow-up set up here. And this goes for anybody who's watching. Under business operations, let's go to follow-up. And this basically is automating a request to review from Amazon. So I'm pretty sure you've got it set up. We'll take a look here. Email automation. And yes, hemp roll-on. Oh, it looks like it might be only on the roll-on. So let's go ahead and edit this. And basically what this is after people get the order, they are going to get an request a review from Amazon. And so I'm actually going to take off this ASIN filter, looks like you had on here, because that was only going to the roll-on. And we actually need the hemp cream to get some more reviews. So let's go ahead and say order delivered. I don't like this. Wait 5 days. I'm going to change this to order placed, and let's wait 28 days. Let's wait. Actually, I'm going to say 20 days. Now, this is different. Like maybe I'm curious. I'm not sure if you have follow-up set up on VitaCup before, Jason, but different products, you want to hit them with a request review at different times. The example I always give is, let's say you're doing a diet pill, which I don't recommend anybody selling on Amazon. I've done that before. You do not want to hit them with request a review as soon as they get the product, because it'll probably be a bad review because they're like, oh, I haven't lost any weight yet. I just got this product yesterday, But, so you want to push it to the end, which is about 25 days after the product arrives, when you want to hit them with it. I would assume it might be similar with the hemp cream, unless we're like, hey, as the first time that people use it, they're going to get the results, but you don't know when they're going to use it. Like maybe they go golfing once a week or every other week. If you hit them too early with this request to review, maybe they haven't used the product yet. It gives you a higher chance to get a negative review. So we're going to go ahead. I'm just going to say 20 days. Probably people who have bought the hemp cream or the roll-on cream probably have used it, 20 days after they order it. So it might be a good time. Are you in agreement there, Jason?
Yeah. So it's interesting. I get your logic. We usually would have our setup not off of when the order is placed, but X amount of days after order is delivered. So, but
that's actually a technical reason. We at Helium 10 had to change that, is because Amazon on a lot of orders now does not deliver in the API to the customer when the product, or to the Amazon seller when the product delivered all the time. And so since that part is broken, we have to do it on ship, because otherwise now 50% of your orders might never get a request to review because according to Amazon, it's not saying that it delivered or not. So that's why.
I would definitely say it. Yeah, you have to wait a little bit of time because they have to use it. You don't know. So hitting them as soon as they receive it, or we think they receive it, is probably way too early.
Well, let me tell you what normally happens. I hand this to somebody. They usually use it immediately, and they say, "I can't believe this works so quickly." Now, I'd like to get them around that time because over time, things change, and maybe doesn't feel as effective later on. So I think it's that balance, right? Of don't be too early, but you don't want to be too late either. So I don't know what that is. So 20 works for me, but I don't know what.
Let's start with 20, and then let's do a test later on. Maybe we put it down to 10, and then the max we can go is like 30. That's just the way Amazon's rules work. And so it'll be interesting to kind of like see, where the reviews can come in at different times. What gives us the best chance to get that review. So let's go ahead and leave it there for now. And then now we've got the email automation set up.
So that I understand this, what this does is it sends an email to the customer saying, please review.
Yes. Like, hey, we'd love to get your feedback. It's an Amazon template that's used. In the old days, we would make our own emails, and you can actually still do that in Helium 10, but I don't suggest that to people to do that anymore just because Amazon is so inconsistent with how they police wording. Amazon's very, very picky. And so, Jason and I might have a template that we use, 100% fine, thousands of emails sent, no issue. You could use the exact same template, and for whatever reason, Amazon's like, nope. We don't like this. Now you're not able to message your customers for 30 days. A little slap on the wrist they do. So just so that there's zero chance of any kind of slap on the wrist, I just use the Amazon template now.
Using it is against TOS to utilize buyer seller messages for any proactive messaging. So even the nature of that, it hasn't been Amazon TOS compliant for years.
They're asking for feedback.
Asking for feedback.
Yeah.
The only thing that's been for years has been TOS compliant has been utilizing their own integration where they send their own integrating to the API like Bradley has.
Yeah, I would as a customer, I have a deal with Amazon. I bought from Amazon. If they send me a note, that's okay. If the person does it directly, I'm probably going to be a little tweaked by that. So I think using Amazon to do it is the best way.
All right. So I think that's it for this episode. Little tweaks, we probably took a good 20-30 minutes here to talk about this, but in actuality, a lot of this stuff you could have done maybe in like 4 or 5, but we're just trying to explain some of the thought process. But these little tweaks, especially the discount on the subscribe and save for roll-on, which was not there, this could have some big ripple effects when we come back and look at the numbers 3-4 months down the road. We just activated review requests on the product that you said is struggling a little bit on the reviews, which is the cream, and who knows? Let's see if that's going to help the reviews get better. But these are not just what David can do, but all you who are watching out there who also have maybe experienced some plateaus in your sales. This is what you guys can work on to give you a little bit of bump. So this is just one of the many things that we're going to be doing. So make sure to check us out in the next episode to see what other strategies we're going to implement to help David double his Amazon sales. See you there.